Welcome back to our Build a Nation save in Finland with TPS. This is Season 3 Part 1, in which I'll be showing you our season progress so far, which isn't a massive amount as the Suomen Cup, or the Domestic Cup if you're not quite sure, is concluded quite early into the season, and it's something that we've been chasing since the beginning of this save, and it's not something we've quite got yet, and we'd love to get our hands on. Here's how the season's begun. Following on from winning the league last season, the board set the budgets. This is how it translates in terms of spending money for the season. One thing we can do now is ensure all players are full time to allow them to train more and become better players. Aside from contract offers for current players, Ollie White was our first signing as we had a new tactic for the upcoming season, meaning we needed extra depth in midfield as well as potential first team player in place of Pohjalainen, as I was becoming a little bit unsure about his development. White is a great player for the league and was playing with another club in the division last season. We managed to snag him on a free. He's capable of playing any central midfield role and could push further if needed, which is just exactly what we needed. Here's a satisfying amount of greens to look at on his report, pretty much everything you need on a player. Up next was Jason Kakonda. We were looking for a successor for Derek Asadi as he was getting on, mainly just to be our number one ball winning midfielder whilst we was waiting for Chris Horton to develop. His scouting report looked good enough for us to give him a contract, another free agent. With a new tactic, we needed a new striker really to lead the line, while Pajala and Karjalainen were developing as we needed someone who could be clinical now and be able to bail them out if they went on a goal drought. Nicola Rauti looked like a quality signing for us, so I snapped him up and gave him the biggest contract in the squad in order to secure his services and beating a few Division 3 Italian teams and some smaller clubs. With the new inbound players dealt with, let's move on to the departures. The only sale that we actually made this season was for Jonas Sundman. He went to Varborg Boys for 50k, meaning he'll actually link up with Simon Kalina, who went there last season from us. Aside from Sundman, the remainders were all loan. Bradick I wanted to sell, but there was no buyers for him, meaning we had to settle with a loan, which is fine considering they're paying his full wages. All of the loanees were youngsters, all of these having a chance to become half-decent players for us if they developed well. Particularly Joni Karjalainen, who plays with the Finnish under-19s very often and has probably the brightest future of all these players out on loan. Chris Horton is also out there in order to attempt to develop him using game time, and if he does well this season then he could rejoin our plans for the future. One player who doesn't show on this transfers out was an end of contract, which was Simo Roiha, who was a great player for us, but he just wanted too much money to be a nobody basically in the squad. Moving on to our first game of the season, we played fierce rivals into Turku, with new man Rauti putting on a clinic, scoring 3 goals and providing an assist for Pajala. But anyway, we're here for the cup run this episode, not the league. We were able to comfortably reach the semis and had a mouthwatering tie again against Turku, meaning it was now more than just a cup game. Our lineup was Karito in goal, someone who has become our number one this season and has some decent potential. Back four of Hyvärinen at left back, Taimi at right back, and a centre back pairing of Huhtala and Jelenik. Magicek pulling the strings just in front of them, with Asadi as a central ball winning midfielder, White filling the spaces on the right, and allowing Stojkovic to do Mazzala things and push up the pitch. Our striker partnership was Pajala and Rauti, who had become pretty decent together. This was our strongest lineup, and the only change really being Hoxha was banned for a game, meaning Hyvärinen had to cover the left side as he's probably the best cover that we have for there, and we brought Taimi in to cover Hyvärinen at right back. Our first highlight was quite early into the game, with Inter having a dangerous cross into the box. Thankfully it went over the bar. They kept the pressure on us. However, Stojkovic steals the ball from about 30 yards and starts having a blistering run. Unfortunately, he decides he's the main character here and goes for a questionable shot from range. Next up, we find ourselves with Taimi, who has the ball on the right wing. He puts a lovely through ball in for Rauti in the attempt to steal the ball, only for it to fall to Stojkovic's feet, who gets us 1-0 up and gets us off to a solid start. In a matter of minutes, we find ourselves with the ball once again in a dangerous position. We start playing some tiki-taka around their area. Stojkovic looks for Rauti, who just doesn't get to the ball. We're able to recycle the possession, and then Stojkovic attempts to thread another ball through, this time for Onnipekka Pajala, who slots home to send us 2-0 up. We mentioned Stojkovic was thinking he was the main character today, and apparently he turned out to be just that, as he swings a long ball in for Rauti, who slams it top bins for a 3-0 lead. Finally, to round this fantastic evening off, Huhtala wins the ball from a goal kick. Our substitute Hardy collects the ball and sends Pajala through, who makes absolutely no mistakes and finalises the scoreline at 4-0. Following that game, our captain Magicek gives us a heads up about Stojkovic feeling like he wants to move on to a bigger club. We send him back to tell Stojkovic that he's already at the biggest club that there is. Stojkovic acknowledges that and now no longer wants to leave. Someone else who thought there was a big boy was Koppinen, He wanted to be the #1 keeper for us. We told him no and he packed his bags. Surprisingly, he went to Bournemouth, who gave us €100,000 for our trouble. Now, who wants a final? So, we played HIFK a couple of days ago in the league. We managed to win 1-0, which was great. A little bit of a taster of what's to expect, really, going into this game, into this final. I don't really like the condition of everyone. I tried to sort of balance it out. I thought they might have recovered a little better. We did leave some of the first team players off to allow them to be fit for this game, because we do want to finally win this cup. It's been like 3 years in the making. I think this is what I'm going to use going into it, because the only thing I would really do, in fact, I need to put Timey back in, I think. Yeah, that works, because McGlure's not really a big match player. Yeah, here it is. Doesn't enjoy big matches, so going to keep him out of it. Don't really play him in any finals or any big rivalry games, which is good for the other players. Gives them a chance to play. But yeah, this is what we'll do. There's Stojkovic and Magiciak, who aren't really the best of conditions, but they'll do a job for 60 minutes or something and then get brought off if we're going to smash the game. We have decent replacements on the bench, so let's get into it. Come on, the boys. Oh, Eric could get us off to a flyer. Big corner. You know what? One thing I've forgotten with changing tactics is that I need to reshuffle the set piece routine around, because we have our striker who's sat on the edge of the box, which realistically I'd like one of my centre mids to be there, because they can actually rifle one in, especially Stojkovic. Ollie White, another corner. I'm not going to do it this game, because I keep telling myself that I'll do it after the game, otherwise you just have to reset it anyway. Stojkovic. Big through ball to Rowty. Oh, you've got to do better than that, man. Let's get a goal. I feel much more comfortable once we've got the first goal. So back-to-back highlights. Splitting through ball. Ali, he's rolled it in. Is this going to be the third year we lose in the final? This is ludicrous. If we don't win it this time, it's just a joke. Big corner. Come on. See, this is where Stojkovic would be great on the edge of the box. He could swing it in, he could take a big shot, do something. Magiciak, Stojkovic, Pajola. Stojkovic! That's what he does. That's why I need him on the edge of the box. Big equaliser. That's exactly what we needed. We've absolutely dominated with the shots as well, so I don't know how we're not putting these in. We really need to be more clinical. The fans deserve this. Go win it for them, boys. It's just got to be done. 3 years we've been trying to do this. Right, it's time. Substitutions have got to be made. I think Rowty's going to have to come off because he's not really done anything. Ahanak come on for Stojkovic because he's one of them players who can just smack a goal from range. And I think we need something like that right now. I'm going to have to take Nielsen off for Magiciak because he is absolutely bollocksed. Hoxer kind of needs to come off, but at the same time, I can't really change up too much. Can we nick the goal? White with the big ball. Pajola. I thought he was going to dig the keeper. It's just too much. I'm going to refuse to make any substitutions. Ahanak, I don't know how he's got a yellow card already. Terrible ball. Keep pressing. We've got it again. He keeps losing the ball and I really don't like this. Nielsen, Pajola. He's done it. I don't even know what to say. I think now, because we're not going to lose again in the final. Out of possession, in possession, we're going to be wasting time. We're going to be that guy. Very defensive. Going to bring on a sub as well, just really to run down the clock. Huvaderen can go on the left, Oyala on, Hoxton can come off for a few minutes. Not that it's going to matter for him, really. Come on, do not concede. Time with a slide. Very, very, very poor slide. Pyler. Hardy. We can wrap this up. We can wrap it up. It's done. It's done. 3 years of waiting. We finally have the cup. What a super sub. What a super sub. Absolute madness. Yeah, of course we're confirming that. We have to. Get in! Finally, 3 years. 3 years we've had to wait for this cup. I think the first year was the final. I think second year was the final as well. We just couldn't seem to get... We had a bit of a curse on the final. And now, finally, third time of trying, we finally got the cup. That's the first Suomen Cup since 2010. So we've only had to wait another 14 years, which was a little bit longer than I thought. I thought second season at least we'd have it. Maybe even the first season, to be honest, because it was us against Nistan and was both in the same division. We were top of the league. We really should have won it first year, but whatever, it's been done. Pyler did absolute bits for us. 1 goal, 2 assists. Praise that performance. What a little superstar. Yeah, this is definitely... We have to have been 3 times now in the final because he's asking the assistant manager, like, touching distance last year. It must be great to have it now. Let's just check this, actually. So the final... We won it this year. Yeah, we lost 1-0 last year. Oh, no. In the first year, we lost to Nistan in the semis. Yeah, semi-finals. So, okay, we had the semi-final first year, which shouldn't have been the case. 14 years after the last domestic cup win, we finally have the Suomen Cup back in our trophy cabinets. Next time we'll discuss the season progress, mainly the league, because the European football will come pretty late in the season and will be done, if not almost done, with the league. If you have enjoyed the video, a like would be great, and more importantly, if you want to keep up to date with the next episode or just be ready for the FM23 content that's to come, be sure to subscribe down below. As for now, I'm out.